Alright, 13 back in action here. Yesterday was Good's server extravaganza. I think they ended up with 300 stable people. I was able to log on once for a few minutes before they got resetted. But one thing I noticed as I was looking through my videos is that a lot of people are watching my Kerbal Space Program videos. So I'm going to create a series of videos that are tutorial videos, and this first one is going to be how to get into orbit. So first what you want to do is select obviously the capsule, which you have no choice not to. Parachute on top, optional depending on how brave you are. And this is just going to be the simplest ship to get into orbit I can do, and so I'm also going to pilot it manually. So we're going to do a decoupler, stack 3, and this may, be a total and utter failure. We'll see. I also like to do 2 solid, and then we're also going to tack on to liquid on top of this, because these tend to last a little bit longer. Have a little bit better performance. So as you can see, this is my orbit only ship. I want all this to launch at once and then leave this one to launch later. Now these are going to break off at the same time. So what I'm going to do is, okay, so that's my liquid, so this would be my solid fuel. So save it, launch it. I also have some new video editing software to test out, so I'm excited to get that done. Let me play this with an earpiece, because you wouldn't believe how loud this is without it. Okay, so I got my volume set to 3. Hopefully that's low enough. I'm going to set my throttle here at 3/4. There's no SAS, so we're just going to launch. So you just want to keep it on the nose right now. By the nose, I mean right here in the center, as I'm trying. Should try. I'm gonna throttle up. It's gonna walk on you if you don't have a computer on board. That's alright, it shouldn't be too problematic. It's just rocket science, come on now. So, come on. It's a lot more unstable than I thought it was. But I plan on going through a couple different of your common tasks. Common rocket problems, but keep on the slight 90 heading. I'm gonna click on SAS. Oh, I forgot the command module does some SAS. As you can see, I can kind of override it, but it's kind of dampen your inputs a little bit. So there's also 2 ways to get into orbit. There's the straight up, turn it sideways, and then burn until your heart's content. With rockets like this, you gotta get a little sideways momentum in to start. Otherwise you can end up running out of fuel. So you want to hold about 10% when you get to this part here, and actually you can see I'm really starting to gain some altitude, so we'll go ahead and start tilting it over a little bit more. There's a lot of science behind this, but I end up doing it all by feel. Just kind of tip the rocket over, keep about on that, on the right end of that circle, which is your vector out. There's another one on the other side that's your vector back, which is what you what you use to use your retroproners. And at 70,000, I'm actually going to tip this over all the way. Yeah, see, we're getting an orbit. Actually, we can just go ahead and press X and kill that, and I will pick you up when I'm closer to the apoapsis. Alright, as you can see, we're coming up to the apoapsis, or apoapsis, apex, however you want to say it. So I'm going to bring up my little shuttle deal here. As you can see, I got lots of debris floating around me. Be interesting to see what they do about that. Yep. So we're going to do a full burn here, and you'll see my lines start to stretch out. So what I like to do is zoom way out. Oop, come on. Get the program here. So here we are, the periapsis, and they switched. So we got a periapsis about 280, periapsis about 215, and an apoapsis about 280. So this is an orbit, as most of you have seen. I have complete half tank to float around. These are great orbits just to put something into space, float around, take a look at I keep wanting to say Earth. Take a look at the planet Kerbal. As you can see, they put a lot more detail into this. I can't wait until I put in, cities and lights that you can see at night. And so say, yeah, here's your exit vector. So as I'm floating around, I want to float around one more time because I want to land in this, which I've never noticed this before, but this looks a lot like the Mindcrack symbol. I show that to Good. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is they don't have they have atmosphere, but they don't have the friction of entering the atmosphere yet. And so what I'm going to do with this video is do where I think should be a good re-entry angle. So as we come around, come on, computer. Nope. There we go. So we're going to burn. I'm going to drop that periapsis. So as you can see, this should, if the mechanics would drop me right, it would drop me right over here, but I think it's going to end up dropping me right about here. So I'll pick you up when I start hitting the atmosphere. Alright, as you can see, I'm just now starting to creep into the atmosphere. Now, if this were real, if I was really entering in the atmosphere, I'd want to do it tail end first, but since they haven't included the heat of re-entry yet, I kind of like entering in at an angle, except for I want the other angle. just to see how far I can get this rocket to fly off course. Is interesting. So, well, let's aim towards land so we know how far off we were. So as you can see, we should have been pretty far off. There we go. You'll start to see the line just ever so slightly move down. And turn up the volume a little bit so we can pick up the atmosphere. Turning it up to 5. This game is very loud. And now you'll start to see the ships start to float around a little bit. I'm actually not hitting the keys right now, and that's just atmosphere. So it'll want to fly tail first. So I'm all hands off the controls. And you can see it's going to start to autocorrect to tail first as it kind of weaves and wobs around. So most people would pull the parachute about now. As you can see, Billy Bobinson is freaking the heck out. But we'll go ahead and eject that stage. I like to wait a little bit longer, because I don't like to wait for the parachute to fall all the way to the ground before. I don't like to wait that long for the time the parachute deploys. So I pop at about 1,000 feet. And it should open about 500. Yep. No time accelerated. So, from your first orbit, the next thing we're going to try to do is get into a geosynchronous orbit. Actually, I don't know what I'm going to do next, but, you know, comment, let me know what you think I should do next. What do you guys need help with? I will try to do my best. Like I said, I'm no rocket scientist, so, but, you know, I've landed on the moon, so I think I'm good enough. Alright, see you later, folks. Bye. Always forget to look at the post-game stats, so, total mission time, you know, an hour. I think I did it on orbit, so not bad. Most G-forces 4.7, definitely within the realm of human possibility. Looks like everything splashed down and was destroyed. Alright, and on that note, later folks.